Fats Waller and Andy Razzoff. What a great American songwriting team. And they were awfully prolific in 1929. They wrote Ain't Misbehavin', Black and Blue, Honeysuckle Rose, and those songs are coming into the public domain in 2025. So we'll take one of them, Honeysuckle Rose, and write an arrangement using 3-note left-hand voicings. We'll start pretty basic, and I'll show it to you on 3 different levels. This is a good method for playing either solo piano or for playing with a band. And if you'd like, you can follow along. I've provided a link to a PDF of the arrangements so that you can get them and see what it's all about. So I hope you have a little bit of fun learning to play Honeysuckle Rose. First, let me show you these 3-note left-hand voicings that we'll need for this arrangement. You take a C7 chord, C, E, G, B flat, but just play the 3rd and the 7th. And once you've done that, you can put a color tone on top. Here we'll add the 9th so that the voicing is 3, 7, 9. And that we'll call the A voicing. Another possibility is to reverse the order of the 3rd and 7th and make it a 7th and a 3rd. And in this case, our color tone will be the 6th, sometimes called the 13th. And that we'll call the B voicing, 7, 3, 6. You can see with this one, it sounds a little murky because the register is kind of low. These voicings sound best when you play them in the lower middle register. That's the C below middle C up to about the G above middle C. Listen to these voicings off of an F chord. Here's the F7, F, A, C, E flat. But we'll just, again, take the 3rd and the 7th, the A and the E flat. Add the color tone, the G. That's the 9th, 3, 7, 9, and there's our A voicing. Again, reverse the order of the 3rd and the 7th, then make it a 7th and a 3rd. And add the color tone, D, that's the 6th, or the 13th, 7, 3, 6. There's our B voicing. Now, often, especially with major 7 and minor 7 chords, we play just the 5th as the upper pitch of the B voicing, and don't try to add the 6th as a color tone. In these chord qualities, you need to be aware that the 6th could produce a somewhat conflicting sound, and you need to keep the 5th as an option for that upper tone. First, let's get the music together for Honeysuckle Rose. This is taken from the original sheet music and also from Fakebook editions. Most of these chords fit right into the key of F. So I think the first step would be to write a chart of all the chords in the key of F. That's F major 7, G minor 7, A minor 7, B flat major 7, C7, D minor 7, and E half diminished 7. Next, we should go back and look at the sheet music, and then we can include all the other chords onto our chart here, those that don't fit clearly in the key of F major. As you can see, there are quite a few, but we'll do our best to make this chart complete before we go on to the next step. Then, to create our 3-note voicings, we should clearly identify the 3rd and the 7th of each of our chords. If the chord is a 6th chord, we'll include the 3rd and the 6th. For this sus chord, we'll include the 4th and the 7th. And then we'll go back to our music and write in red ink the 3rd and the 7th right next to each chord for reference. Now we'll create our 3-note voicings. We'll start with our B voicing. This is for the G minor 7. We'll write the 7th and the 3rd, F and B flat, and then put a tone above the 5th, D. Usually with minor 7 chords, they sound best if you just put the 5th on top. We'll follow that with an A voicing for the C7. We'll write the 3rd and the 7th, E and B flat, and put the color tone D on top, the 9th. That's a nice C9th voicing. It's really not unusual at all for these voicings to alternate from a B voicing to an A voicing back to a B voicing, especially when you're writing chord progressions going around the circle of fifths, like 2-5-1 progressions. And that's what we have here, a 2-5 progression. Notice that when you voice the chord progression this way, there are 2 common tones. See the B flat and the D pitches staying in the same place? And also, the chord 7th moves stepwise down to the 3rd of the following chord. That's always a hallmark of good voice leading. The next three measures use the same chords, so we'll go on to measure 5. That's F6, so we'll just write F major 7 for this. We'll use a B voicing, the 7th and the 3rd, E and A, and then put the tone above the 5th, C. We'll let the E drop to D for the D minor 7. The G minor 7, C7 are just like the beginning. And then under the first ending, we'll start with an F major 7 chord. That's a B voicing. The G minor 7 chord, a B voicing. A minor 7, also a B voicing. We'll put the 7th and the 3rd, the G and the C, and then the 5th above that, E. And then we'll change this a little bit. Since all of this harmony is rather parallel, we'll keep it parallel and go down to A flat minor 7 as a substitute for the D7. And that's the 7th and the 3rd, G flat, C flat, with the 5th above it, E flat. So we have a nice string of B voicings there. The second ending is similar. When we get to the B section, the bridge section, we're going to start with an F7 chord here. This is a nice B voicing. So the 7th and the 3rd, E flat and A, and the color tone D makes a nice F7/6 chord. C minor 7, we'll make that an A voicing. The 3rd and the 7th, color tone D. The F diminished 7 voicing is a little different. We'll just include all the notes of the chord, the F, the A flat or G sharp as shown here, the B, and the D. F7, the B voicing that we've already used, and most of the chords in the next couple of measures are B voicings, the 7th and the 3rd, with a color tone 6th up above. And we'll continue making the voicings in this manner right to the end. Let's give it a listen. Now let's listen to the same passage, played a little bit looser, and also with bass and drums. You may have noticed that root tones are generally missing from 3-note voicings like this. Now in this version, the bass player plays those root tones, and the voicings sound much more grounded and complete. For version number 2 of this arrangement, we're just going to make one simple change. We're going to take those left-hand 3-note voicings and split them up. We'll take the bottom note of the voicing here for the G minor 7 B voicing, that's the F, play it as a quarter note. And then we'll play the upper 2 notes, the B flat and the D, play those as quarter notes as well. Notice when I play the upper two notes of that voicing, the top note is a D, and that duplicates the note of the melody, so I won't really need to play that note in the left hand. It already will be played. The C7 gets split up. First the E, and then the B flat and D. The G minor 7 gets split up again. And I added a couple of quarter note passing tones here, D, D sharp, to get to the C7. And I'll continue like that through the piece. Some of the measures I'll just keep the same as the A version. Let's give it a listen. In version number 3, one more slight change. In the left hand, we'll actually play the root tone first, and then jump up and play the 3-note voicing. It is a little more difficult because it's kind of jumpy, but I think you'll like it. Give it a listen.